What's going on, guys? Mega Geek back with another video, back with another build guide, and we're back with Barbarian, continuing with the charge build, although this is a slightly different version. This is the 6-piece Raycore 4-piece Immortal Kings set. Now, I will kind of preface this video by saying I did a full Raycore charge barb build on the PTR a couple of months ago. And I said, hey, we have toughness now because this doesn't need to be on here. Because I was just trying something. Anyways, because we were able to use the new Band of Might, but we were using Focus and Restraint, and then we were using Ignore Pain or something. And after I kept looking at the build, I kind of went over and just, you know, thought, why can't we, I don't know, I kind of threw this together. This may be something that other people are using, or maybe I just wasn't doing it right the first time. I don't know. Anyways, we're going to go over the other charge bar build, or one of the others. Long story short, I kind of rambled on. But yeah, we'll go over the gear and the skills and all that stuff, and then we'll run a Greater Rift. So, on to the gear. We're going to need Immortal King's Boulder Breaker as our weapon. And gain life per fury spent is really good to have on there because it's so much, and that's going to be the majority of our sustain. Again, in this build, kind of like the other charge build, so we're using the Boulder Breaker. And then you can see we also have the Immortal King's torso on, and then Immortal King's waist on as well, and we've got life per fury spent on there. And then for the other items, we've got the hands, legs, feet, head, and shoulders for Raycores. Now, some of these pieces can be swapped out for other Immortal Kings pieces. The main thing is you have 5 pieces of Raycore and 3 pieces of Immortal Kings. And really, I think the only piece that can be, I mean, it depends on which ones you have, but make sure you have 5 pieces of Raycore and 3 pieces of Immortal Kings. And we're going with toughness because cooldown reduction isn't really a big thing with this build, so we're going with a life gem, an amethyst in the helm, and then we're going with resist all in our gear. And for rings, we're using the Ring of Royal Grandeur. The Ring of Royal Grandeur that I have is better than the Band of Might that I happen to have, so I'm just wearing a Ring of Royal Grandeur. And we're also using a Convention of Elements. Again, this has kind of worked its way into this build. Like I said, there is a previous version that uses Focus and Restraint, but then you can't use Band of Might because you have to put Ring of Royal Grandeur in the cube, and that takes away a lot of damage mitigation, a lot of toughness. So instead, we're using Convention of Elements. But yeah, we're gaining 200% increased damage to a single element for 4 seconds. This is a physical build. You can see our main damage there, and then of course this is physical as well. So 4 out of every 16 seconds, we're going to get 200% increased damage. And I'll show you kind of how to optimize that with this build as we are playing. We are using Bracers of Destruction, and physical damage is a really good thing to have on there. We've got some that are 499% now, which is nice, but not quite perfect. 500 would be perfect. And then I'm also using a Hellfire Amulet, and kind of like the previous charge build, I am using my Superstition passive amulet just to give me some more toughness. Might not need that much toughness, but again, you don't really need. My other really good amulet is Boonable Kathos, and you don't really need the Boonable Kathos passive in this set because you're resetting it so fast anyways. So I would just personally go for a defensive thing unless you don't need it, and you have an Hellfire Amulet that has another offensive passive, then go for it. As for the gems, we're using Trapped, we're using Bane of the Stricken, and we are using Esoteric for some more damage mitigation. Again, if you feel you're tough enough and you're having an easy time, then you can swap out Esoteric for something that's more damage if you like. But movement speed isn't really going to benefit you in this build, so I wouldn't swap out for Wreath of Lightning. Yeah, maybe Bane of the Powerful or something, depending on what level of Rift you're on. But that is the gear. The cube, we are running Fury of the Vanished Peak. Reduce the cost of Fury cost of Seismic Slam by 50%, which doesn't matter for this build, but increase its damage by 500%. And that's going to couple really well with our 6-piece bonus here. And I guess I could go over the bonuses since we are using 2 different sets here. The Furious Charge, the 2-piece set refunds a charge if it only hits 1. Furious Charge itself gains 1,000% increased damage on the 4-piece. It's nice, but on this build it's not really that significant. The 6-piece set bonus is where it's at. Every use of Furious Charge increases the damage of your next Fury spending attack by 2,800%. This effect stacks up to 99 times, I think, but you can use up to 5 stacks at a time. So every use of a Fury spending attack consumes 5 stacks, so it's 2,800% per stack, and you can see there they are there. So I kind of like to save them up for elite packs, and then you can kind of mow them down really fast. So Seismic Slam is getting buffed by this. Of course, we're using the Rumble rune, which we'll go over in the skills. And then it's also getting buffed by that 2,800%. So it's just massive, massive damage all at once. And then the bonuses we're getting from the Immortal Kings: Call the Ancients last until they die, and reduce the cooldown of Wrath Berserker and Call the Ancients by 3 seconds every time you spend 10 Fury. Now I am running Call the Ancients, even though we aren't using the 6-piece bonus, and I'm running Together as 1 just for a little more toughness. You could probably switch this out for something else if you liked. If you wanted to go another toughness route, you could throw Ignore Pain in there. If you wanted some more mobility, you could throw Sprint, but again, movement speed is not going to do a lot. Maybe you could go with Ancient Spear, Rage Flip to kind of drag enemies along. Sometimes it's kind of a pain to get enemies to group up. I haven't really decided. I mean, you could go with Threatening Shout too if you liked, if you wanted them to take more damage. I haven't really decided what I would swap this out yet. So for now, I'm just sticking with Call the Ancients Together as 1 to, you know, to get more damage mitigation. If you guys find out something that you really like to put in this spot instead, let me know in the comments. And then again, for a little bit more toughness, we're going Ancient Parthan Defenders. Each enemy stunned within 25 yards reduce your damage by 12%. Now, our toughness actually in battle, once we have all of our buffs up, actually goes to like 690 million, which is pretty considerably high. So you could probably swap these out if you really wanted to for Nemesis Bracers would be a good idea for one. I can't really think of anything else. If you're using the Ancient Spear Boulder Toss version of this, you would use Shackler's Salvation. So yeah, so it really depends. Again, I haven't really decided if I want to put Nemesis Bracers in here yet. For really high pushing, I'm sticking with more toughness for now. But onto the skills, we are using Seismic Slam Rumble. This dumps all of your Fury, slam the ground, and expend all Fury, dealing 15% weapon damage per point of Fury spent. So you want to have max Fury everywhere you can. Boulder Breaker, you can get maximum Fury on as a secondary. A couple other items, I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, your belt, you can get max Fury. I can't remember everywhere you can get max Fury, but get max Fury everywhere you can, and then also put maximum Fury in Paragon points, which we'll go over. We're using Furious Charge, Merciless Assault. Again, we're gaining all of the runes of Furious Charge by the 4-piece set bonus, so it doesn't really matter which rune you have picked. Just go with a physical rune since it's a physical build. Again, we're using Call the Ancients Together as 1. Battle Rage Bloodshed. This skill is, you know, I've said it before, it's too good not to use. And with the huge pops of damage that we're going to be doing in a very short period of time, or in bursts really, from every time we dump, then that just makes that 20% explosion that much more. So yeah, very nice. We're going with Warcry Veterans Warning for more toughness, and it can also be used as a Fury generator, especially if you want to be dumping your Fury faster on the Rift Guardian. You can pop that and generate a little bit more Fury. Using Wrath of Berserker Insanity, and again we're using Relentless. You know, I might actually switch this out. I'm not entirely sure what I want to switch it out for. I've been kind of wanting to switch this out on this particular build. The life per fury spent being doubled below 35% is super nice. You could use Berserker Rage because you're going to be at full fury when you dump this, so it should take affect that, or you could use Bloodlust or Bloodthirst rather. Again, I haven't completely decided which skill yet, but Relentless is a good skill to have. Again, it's a good, nice defensive skill, and it's kind of a save your life skill. And in a lot of cases, I like it better than Nerves of Steel because it gives a lot more. Even though Nerves of Steel is really a cheat death, this really kind of gives a lot more overall usefulness, so I prefer Relentless. And we're sticking to it for this build. Feel free to try other skills. We're using Rampage, of course, Brawler, and Ruthless. And that is it for the skills. For the Paragon points, Maximum Fury, of course. I've got movement speed because it's nice to have a little bit more movement speed. You don't have to have movement speed with this particular build. And I've got some Vitality because my Vitality is really low on this build. And then I've got the rest in Strength. For offense, you want to go critical hit chance, critical hit damage, cooldown reduction, and attack speed. Resist all, armor, life, and life regen. Area damage, life per hit, resource cost, and gold fine. Area damage first because life per hit's not really our sustain. I mean, you can go for that first because your charge will heal you on hits, but it's not, you know, it's not that significant. So anyways, yeah, that is the build, guys. Let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to run a 90. Hopefully we get a decent rift. This doesn't look too good so far. I hate this floor so much. So yeah, we've got an elite pack right here already. But because we're using the Ray Corset, you want to make sure you get up to 5 stacks. And then you can see when you dump at least 5 stacks in your physical roll and you're on an Oculus ring, it's something else. Now this build does, again, you have to hit, you know, so many targets to really take effect of your Furious Charge, and we're kind of even here having a little bit of trouble. So while we've got the Illusionist up, I'm going to save up some charges. And now that we've got our physical roll, and earlier I mentioned something about burning them all down while your physical roll was up, and I'll explain that when we get a little better density. It's kind of hard to save up stacks here. And we can maybe land on just this guy and get our stacks up. And we should be able to get this guy down with that hit there. There we go. So again, you can see our stacks there, and we've saved up a few. But generally, as you're going along, I like to, and again, not much density. Let's see if there's something up here a little bit. I like to kind of charge along and save up stacks, and then when you get a lot of density, hopefully if you get a good rift, you can charge once, dump, charge once, dump, charge once, dump, and each charge, because you get so much density, is actually filling your fury bar, and so you're just doing gobs and gobs and gobs of damage all at once. Hopefully we get enough fury that I can demonstrate it in this video. I've demonstrated it in past videos, but every time I do a new video and want to demonstrate something, I obviously want to demonstrate it. After you cast your Seismic Slam, make sure you charge right back in. That way you benefit from your damage bonus of your Bloodshed rune. And there's actually some good density down there. So we can clear that out pretty quick. Never know which way to go. Similar to the other charge build, this build does somewhat rely on density. Maybe not quite to the extent the other build does, but it does still rely on good density to really shine. And usually when you get a pack like this, now here we go, we've got enough density so we can charge, and I'm actually going to wait till we're on our physical roll, but you can charge, dump, charge, dump, charge. If you're in the middle of the density, it only takes one. Now it does eat away at your stacks, but again, you only use 5 at a time, so... And you can see how much damage, when you do that, how much damage the blue or the elites take. It's just insane. And then you've got your proc from your bloodshed going as well. So when you get really good density, you know, kind of, you can charge extra and save up some couple packs, or I mean save up some stacks. And we're going to go ahead and move on. That's good enough. And we'll just save up a bunch of stacks here and then nuke them with one physical roll. Should be able to. Yeah, there we go. For the most part. And this is pretty good density here. Let's see what's up here. I didn't want that guy to follow me so far. But you can see our toughness there, 698 million. So we could probably afford to get rid of a few toughness things. You know, maybe we could go with Berserker Rage, or, you know, and get rid of Relentless, or get rid of our Hellfire Amulet, Superstition maybe, and go with something else. But again, I am only on a 90. So when you get higher in the rifts, you know, you get up to 95, 100 plus, you might want all that toughness. And as I'm flapping my gums, I haven't played this guy too well, but he's going down. I mean, he's going down. Yeah, there he goes. So your physical roll is where your insane damage comes from, but you still do good damage any other time because you're still doing a lot of damage. And we went the wrong way, of course. Of course we did. Why wouldn't we go the wrong way? There's no road signs. There's another elite. A channeling shrine. Fantastic. We don't have too many stacks saved up. So if you don't have too many stacks saved up, go make sure you get the 5 before you dump each time to do your maximum damage. However, if you're getting full fury and you need to dump it to sustain, feel free to do that. Even with all my toughness, I still don't want to get hit by those fireballs. And darn, I thought that would have killed him, but I guess not. That did, though. Now, previously on the PTR, when I was talking about the... it's kind of a different version of this, and then comparing it to the OG Charge Barb that... relies on charge to do its damage, which is the other build guide that I did the other day. I said that this one probably had more potential to push higher. I'm not going to completely retract that, but it's hard to really say for sure. The other one is fantastic. It really is. But this one is really, really good too. It might depend on the rift. This one does a lot of burst damage. That one does a lot of kind of... I mean, it does a lot of AoE damage, as does this. So, I don't know. I'm torn. I'm really torn myself. Somebody might know. Somebody might really like charge barbs and play them both and let me know which one is better. I don't know if there's a hard and fast which one is better, but they're both really good. They're both really, really good. But they do both rely on big density, kind of like the Whirlwind build, to do maximum damage. And I was hoping there'd be an elite. There we go. I'm just going to save up since there's good density here. I'm going to save up till our physical roll and then blow them up. Charge once or twice. Of course, they kind of left, but... Or they split. Darn illusionists. And we lost our stacks, but there's a lot of density up here, so we'll come up here real fast to get some stacks. That took him out. And this build, you can make a speed version out of it. I have not, but I mean, it would be great for a speed build. You can... Because you don't even have to worry about getting 5 stacks on there, honestly. You're doing so much damage, you can just explode things. There's a build similar to this, but it uses Hammer the Ancients. It's the Hoda build, but with Raycore set. Riker touched on it in his new video, and it looks interesting, but it's essentially this build. It's just using Hammer the Ancients instead of Ancient Spear. And this is unfortunate. We're kind of in a bind here. I was hoping we could blow him up on that physical roll. And this is again kind of where this build suffers. Oh, there's a couple of enemies down here. There, we got some enemies we can charge. Wish this guy would stay off on his own. We should have been able to kill this guy long ago. There we go. Now he's gonna die. Hopefully, I thought. There we go. And there's the Rift Guardian. And there he is. Alright, and lots of density. So again, go to maximum fury before you dump, if you can, unless you need to sustain. And make sure you are just about at full fury or at full fury when your physical roll comes around. And then by the time, like now, and then by the time the physical roll is about done, you can pretty much do it again. You can get 2 hits with your physical roll, is what I'm trying to say. Words are tough. And this is a good Rift Guardian with lots and lots of adds. If you get a Rift Guardian, as you saw in my other build, my other Furious Charge build, you get one that just summons 1 or 2 adds. It's really, really annoying. But there is the Furious Charge Seismic Slam build. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and a comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you guys for watching. More good stuff to come. Take care.